Alrighty then, take two. Successful indie author, 5-minute focus, episode 328, importance of craft. What I found out about my Bose AirPods, super cool things, is that if you have music playing and you do a video, it's all good. It still records me, but it still plays the music. So that was a little bit disconcerting. So I had shut it off this time, and hopefully this works well. All right. The importance of craft. We don't talk about craft a whole lot in 20 books to 50K because there's so many nuances with different genres that it usually deteriorates and nobody gets anything out of it. So we recommend go find a craft group for your very specific genre or for you specifically to help you get better at your craft. We assume that you've written at least a good story. If you haven't, you can market the hell out of that first book and you might even sell it, but you'll never sell the second book. This is where you have to tell a good story, but you still have to get that first book out there in order to learn your craft. Because if you practice without any intentionality, and that's like going to the golf course and just swinging a club and hoping for the best, no, it helps to have a golf pro or some documentation, some literature in order to learn how to do it right. The same thing with writing. And the best feedback you can get is from the readers that read your genre in order to help you better craft that tale and hit what they're looking for. So practice, intentionality of practice. If you keep rewriting the same book, what are you practicing? Who's giving you feedback? And are you getting any better? You don't get better unless you've got some kind of competition, and that competition is with yourself. Are you getting where you need to go? So if you sell that book, that first book, and it's not good, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. So if you're writing the same, if you're just writing and not taking any feedback and just jamming stories, that's not 20 books to 50K. One of the most annoying things I see is when people say, I've written 20 books, where's my 50,000? Well, no, it doesn't work that way. Where's your one book? And is your second book better? Is your third book better? Is your fourth book better? When did you start a new series? Because a subset of a subset, if you can't sell the first book, then the fourth book in that series isn't going to sell either. So how are you improving? And then what are you doing for your engagement? And as you've improved, then you write a new series. And my best-selling books are newer series because we got all the elements right. We built up a readership of people who said, hey, these were good stories. And then they became great stories. And then the new series, great from the word go. It's so important to get that first book right. But you've got to practice. You've got to get it out there and then get feedback of, oh, man, it was okay until this happened, and that took me out of the story. That's great feedback because once you take somebody out of the story, that's not what you want. You don't want to ever give a person an excuse to stop reading. How do you get there? This is a profession. Be a professional. Read first. Read your genre so you understand what those expectations are, and you can love it. I love this genre, and then write in it. If you don't love the genre and you're trying to write in it, that'd be like me trying to write romance. I did that. It didn't work because I didn't read the genre. I didn't know what the expectations were. I didn't know the flow. You have to get that right. And you only get that right through practice. I read thousands of science fiction books. So my first science fiction books were pretty good. And they resonated well with the readership because that's what I read and what I was used to. So that's how you shortcut the process and become professional more quickly because you've already been there. So science fiction. Thrillers, I don't read as many thrillers, so my thriller didn't necessarily hit right off, but we tweaked it and engaged a different audience because my genre equals marketing, the genre on that one wasn't exactly thriller. It was a well-written story. I mean, there's no mistake about that. But it was more romantic suspense, as odd as that sounds, because I don't write romance. And so we changed our targeting, action adventure, with that romantic element, and it does great now because it's a well-written story. A great story will always find a good audience. And once you find that audience, you want to pry it apart and get all of the people in that audience to take a look and see that yes, that's what they want. So practice, but focused practice. Focused practice based on the feedback that you're getting. KP, you know better than anybody. You got to hit that genre right. And you can love it. It's the Venn diagram. Here's what I love to read. Here's what I love to write. Do that. Here's what the readers love to read. Yeah, add that in there and you've got the home run. It doesn't mean, hey, I have to write stuff I don't like. No, I would never tell anybody to write stuff you don't like, because then it's too much like work. Who wants to do that? Don't. So anyway, that's probably the screen grab for this one. And it's okay to get it wrong. Actually, I think you have to get it wrong, because we learn more through our mistakes than we do our successes. People who write that first book and it's a wild success, I have seen so many people taper off and then get out of the business because they couldn't replicate that first success because they didn't know what they did right. If you know what you do wrong, you strip that away and all of a sudden there's nothing left but what's right. And what's right is what resonates best with the readers. Feedback, writing better. So you write that first series, the first book doesn't sell. You market the hell out of it, and so you get sales, but then nobody buys the second book. And then the third book and the fourth book. Nobody's going to buy the fourth book if they didn't already, if the first book isn't selling. So then, hey, you start a new series, you've learned, you become more of a professional, and you know what a good story is, and especially in this genre. You're hitting those things, you're having a good time writing it, and that is reflected. When you're having fun writing a book, that is reflected in the writing. And so I think it's critical that you write what you like. You write what you love, you write what you know. And what you know isn't the story, it's the elements within the story that you embrace and hold close. That's the secret to craft. So no, we don't do it in 20 books, but we ask people, hey, go find a craft group that talks very, very specifically this genre, subgenre, to help you understand best what the readers are looking for and give it to them without making it, I don't like writing this. If you like sweet romance and all of a sudden you've got to go steamy, don't do that, because that's going to grate on your soul and you're not going to like it, and all of a sudden writing isn't fun anymore, and you're going to browse Facebook instead of writing, and nobody does that. You'd rather write. So study, be a professional in your business. This isn't something where, hey, anybody can do it. If anybody could do it, they would. People being successful, that's that step higher, where you've embraced the craft, you become one with it, and you work to improve it. Every single novel I've written, a lot. And I still struggle with the words and try and send it to my insider team, please, how does this read? And they'll shoot back feedback. It's like, yes, that's what I was missing. Everybody needs help. Accept it from people who know that genre, and get better and move on and keep writing. Alrighty then. Hopefully that helps. This was a redo, so I hit some different points this one that I didn't the first one, but since the first one was no words, because my headphones weren't working right, or I wasn't working right, they were working just fine. Alright. Peace, fellow humans. Importance of craft. Craft is critical for selling that next book. Anybody can sell one book. That's fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. So that's, no. Anybody can sell that first book, but can you sell a second book? Good craft will help you sell that second book and all the books beyond that. Peace, fellow humans.